Shalom. My name is Moreh IshiYAH Yisrael from the House of Israel in Cincinnati, Ohio, 2330 Kemper Lane, bringing to you in 40 minutes or less. In 40 minutes or less, I will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the word of Yahweh. Who is this Yahweh? Yahweh is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein. Yahweh is the Elohim of our fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yisrael, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yahweh is our judge. Yahweh is our lawgiver. Yahweh is our king, who will save us. Shalom and praise the mighty Yah. Welcome to another program of 40 minutes or less. We will begin a series on health, a 7-part series that we will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the 7 most important things that affects your health. But today we will deal with the number 1 thing that affects your health. One of the most important things. And what is that? How you think. The very thoughts of your mind and heart. We will also prove that not only your thoughts come from your heart, but it also comes from your mind. And the mind and the heart are 2 different things altogether. We will show you this. And if you can begin to change the way you think, you also can begin to change the way you feel. So let us begin this. And let us begin this program in the book of Proverbs. Again, as I told you before, we will do all this. We will prove all this in 40 minutes or less. The first part of our series on health. In the book of Proverbs 23, this is what it says. And we will start reading at the 6th verse. It says, "Eat thou not the bread of him that have an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, said he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." So what this is really letting us know is letting us know that you got to be careful about who provides for your table in which you eat. But the most important thing you have to know about who's providing the table, the things that you eat, is how do this person actually think? And we go to restaurants, we go to fast food places, we go all kind of places to eat, not realizing, not even thinking, well, how do this person feel and think about me? Because as he think in his heart, according to the scriptures, so is he. And you can't separate you from your heart and heart from you. And just to show you that it's not just your heart you had to worry about. In the book of First Chronicles, the 28th chapter, let us turn there. First Chronicles 28. And I want you to see this as well. Talking about your health. And the very first thing that you're going to have to change if you want to change your health, and I'm going to show you what the word health means, is you have to change the way you think. You have to change your very thoughts. And you can. I'm going to show you that. In the book of First Chronicles, the 28th chapter, the 9th verse, watch what King David, tell his son Solomon. And thou, Solomon, my son, know thou the Elohim of thy father. Serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind. Because these are two different things. For Yahweh searcheth all hearts and understandeth all the imagination of the thoughts. If thou seek him, he will be found of thee. But if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever. So it's very important that we understand the Creator and the very thing that he searches out, the very thing he looks at, the very thing he judges. Because he don't have to see you do a bunch of things to judge you. That's what we do. That's not how the Creator judges. And if you want to see how the Creator judge, if you look in the book of 1 Samuel, the 16th chapter, watch what the Creator says, talking about your health. And the number one thing that you have to concern yourself with is your thoughts, which you will see. In the book of 1 Samuel 16, watch this. The 7th verse. But Yahweh said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahweh seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart. And we just read, as a man thinketh, so is he. So imagine if you dealing with somebody that's always thinking negative, always thinking bad, always thinking bad things about people, can't trust nobody. Well, as that person thinking, so is he. You can't be good, but always thinking bad. Just like you can't be bad, but always thinking good. No. Your thoughts control your behavior. And if you don't know how to control your thoughts, you will never, ever be able to control your behavior. And if you can't control that, then how can you control your health? And let me show you. In the scriptures, the first 3 times the word health is mentioned. Let me show you exactly what it means. Since we're talking about health, the very first place is in the book of Genesis, the 43rd chapter. Genesis 43. This is the very first time the word health is mentioned. And let's see what it means. Genesis 43, and watch what it says. And we're going to read the 28th verse. And I may add, this is not just the very first time it is mentioned. Well, let's read it. Genesis 43. And this is what it says in the 28th verse. I'll start at the 27th verse. And he asked them of their welfare and said, Is your father well? The old man of whom ye spoke, is he yet alive? And they answered, Thy servant our father is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. In other words, they was asking about his welfare, his health. And the first thing they asked him is he well, this old man? Is your father well? Well, this same word well come from the same Hebrew word as health in this scripture. And guess what it means? Shalom. And what do shalom mean? It means peace. And how can anyone be well and they don't have peace? In other words, if you stressed over this, you stressed over that, and you stressed all the time, and you stressed every day, and you stressed every night, being stressed is the total opposite of peace. And our people don't have peace. No wonder we as a people are the sickest people on earth. But if you want to be well and you want to have health, which simply means you want peace, then you got to change the way you think. And that's what we're going to prove to you. We're going to prove that to you. Furthermore, those are the first two times when you see the word well or health, it just means shalom. Again, the third time in the book of 2 Samuel, the 20th chapter, watch what it says. In 2 Samuel, the 20th chapter, and we're going to read the 9th verse. Let me get there. I was at 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel 20 and 9. And Joab said to Amasa, Art thou in health? And what was he asking Amasa? He was asking him, Are you in peace, my brother? And Joab took Amasa by the beard with the right hand to kiss him. Because this is what the word health literally and actually means in many of the scriptures. And who can say that if you don't have peace, you're not well? No, that's the very definition of peace, is being well, having health. And I'm going to give you seven scriptures on how you can garner, how you can get, how you can possess this peace. Let's start at number one. This is how you get that peace. The first place is in the book of Jeremiah. See, if you fear Yahweh and tremble at his word, the very thing I'm telling you is the very thing you're going to have to learn. Now, you can reject this, but all you're doing is rejecting your ability to heal. Yahweh gave us his word to heal us. Watch this. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For I know, this is what Yahweh said, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says Yahweh. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. In other words, Yahweh, he don't think like you. You think evil about people. You think negative about people. You think bad about people. Even though Yahweh said we're the most rebellious people on earth, the most stiff-necked people, the most hard-hearted people on earth, he said, I know the thoughts I think about you, and it's thoughts of peace. No wonder Yahweh don't get sick. That's number one. You got to change the way you think. You have to have way more thoughts of peace. And you might ask yourself, well, how can I have all these thoughts of peace in a wicked world, in an evil world, in a world full of chaos? Well, let me show you how, which is number 2. In the book of Isaiah 55. This is the second thing you're going to have to learn. First, you're going to have thoughts of peace like Yah. This is why a lot of people, they have bad dreams. You don't have good dreams because your thoughts are bad. The way you think is bad. And so consequently, your dreams are bad. Here it is in the book of Isaiah, the 55th chapter, the 7th verse. Let the wicked forsake his way, the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our Elohim, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, says Yahweh. For as heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So you got to think like Yah, and you got to begin to learn how to forsake the way you think. That's the second way, how you possess and garner this peace. The third way is in the book of Proverbs, the 16th chapter. Proverbs 16. In the book of Proverbs 16, watch what it says, the third verse. This is the third thing. Commit thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. And don't forget, what thoughts? Your thoughts of peace. Because Yahweh said, I know the thoughts I think upon you. They're thoughts of peace and not evil. But if you commit your works unto Yahweh, nobody want to work for Yahweh. I guess they don't want to work for Yahweh because Yahweh didn't come down himself, tap you on the shoulder and say, look, will you fill out this application? Will you go online and apply for this position? Is that the only way you will consider that you're working for Yahweh? You got to commit your work unto Yahweh, and you got to know what the work of Yahweh is. And once you commit it, then Yahweh will establish your thoughts. Number 4, just proven beyond a shadow of a doubt how you possess this peace. Number 4, in the book of Isaiah, once again, Isaiah 26. Watch what it says. And we're going to start reading at the 3rd verse. Thou, who is thou? Yahweh, will keep him in perfect peace. And who don't want perfect peace? Whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. So we got to learn how to keep our mind on Yahweh. But our mind too busy on Instagram, is too busy on YouTube, too busy on Facebook, too busy on all these various different social platforms, and we're not filling our mind up with peace. The mass majority of the things we put our mind on is war, violence, and outright foolishness. Be honest with yourself. The Almighty said He wants truth on the inward parts, as you will see. Number 5. How do you possess this peace so that your thoughts can be full of peace and your soul full of health? Number 5. Watch what it says in the book of Deuteronomy, or not Deuteronomy, Proverbs 29. Proverbs 29. The 5th thing. I only got 2 more things. In the book of Proverbs 29, this is what it says. The 18th verse. Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. In other words, we got to have vision. We got to have vision of tomorrow. Vision is something, he's not talking about your outward vision. He's talking about your inward vision, your ability to see tomorrow, your ability to see the whole week, your ability to see next month, your ability to see next year. You have to have an expected end. I'm going to think good today. I'm going to do good today. And this is what I'm going to do to possess that peace. You have to have vision. And where there's no vision, the people perish. They die because they never knew how to think. And as a man thinketh, so is he. Number 6. Number 6. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. And not only is Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, such a beautiful scripture, but it's the law. And let's see, are you in tune with this law? And I'm here to tell you, hate to disappoint you, but the mass majority of the people are not. Watch what it says in the book of Deuteronomy 20, verse 10. When thou comest near unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. You hear the law? The laws of Yahweh tell us if we come to a city to fight against it, the only city that we were allowed to fight against is a city full of enemies. He's not talking about a city of one of our brethren. He's talking about a city of one of our enemies. And by law, we're supposed to proclaim peace. And if you're proclaiming peace to your enemies, what in the world do you think you're supposed to be doing with your brother? Why is all this fighting and backbiting and slandering and scorning? And the number one thing in our community is hate. Why? When all these things are against the law. And you say you keep the law, but why is our community so trodden down? Watch what it says. That's the law. And let's look at the 7th thing. The Creator would give us to promote peace, to possess peace, to garner peace. and to have good health. Because how can your thoughts be violent and then you have good health? No. You have to change the way you think. You got to think like Yahweh. Yahweh say his thoughts are thoughts of peace. In the book of Zechariah, which is the seventh thing. Now, I can show you 20 things, but that's for you to search out. What I'm showing you today, in 40 minutes or less, is how to get busy fulfilling the word of Yahweh, fulfilling Yahweh's pleasure, because this is how Yahweh wants you to think. In the book of Zechariah, the 8th chapter, watch what the Creator says. Zechariah 8. And when he told our people this, they were in captivity. So captivity is not the reason to keep you from fulfilling his word. This prophet said this in captivity to a bunch of slaves. Watch what it says. Zechariah, the 8th chapter, the 16th verse. These are the things that ye shall do. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor. You don't never supposed to imagine evil against your neighbor in your heart. And love no false oath. For all these are things that I hate, says Yahweh. So you mean to tell me you would do things that Yahweh hate? Sure you would. Watch what it says. And the word of Yah, folks, came unto me, saying, thus says Yahweh, folks, the fast of the 4th month, the fast of the 5th, the fast of the 7th, the fast of the 10th shall be to the house of Yehudah joy and gladness, cheerful feast. Therefore love the truth and peace. These are things that we are to love. We're supposed to love these things. And it is true. The last scripture I want you to see. It is true that our people, when they came here, slaves, butt naked on these slave ships, and was turned against one another, all that started in the mind. And look what the Creator said in the book of Deuteronomy 28. So you can see where the origin of these things come from. In Deuteronomy 28, verse 64 and 65. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people. Yahweh did that, not your enemies. From the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, a failing of the eyes, and sorrow of mind. And look what happens when you have these things. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have no assurance of thy life. In other words, you're scared to live. Even all the way into this day, you're scared to live. Full of fear. Fear what somebody going to say. Fear what somebody going to do. Fear how somebody going to be. Fear this, fear that. And your life is in doubt. instead of having a life full of internal peace. And why? Because that's the way you think. And why? Because that's what you do. And it starts with your thoughts. And until our next program, this was lesson number 45, Health Part 1, your thoughts. And until our next program, Yahweh love you, and so do I. Shalom.